hearing for a while.
Okay.
The first is Little Pond and the second is what we call the secular subdivision. Yes.
Caught in the closet.
Well, I said if I close the door, that.
Welcome to be here.
All right, I'm just saying.
Why don't I get your name? Introduce her. Oh, sorry.
Pivot along.
I know, I do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I
Where'd
did
you
that
get
from
it?
here.
I think that's, that's Little Pond, but it's, take a whole package. That's something with. This is stuff that hasn't.
Wait a minute, maybe you need to hand it out, because I'm making a mess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you tear one apart?
No,
Alright.
not that I know of.
These are secular here,
This is Little Pond,
and that's Little Pond there.
and this is the total Little Pond?
Yes, and there must have been one that wasn't stapled and it's all got, it's all got.
Deb's got it.
So here's mine, right here, I'm giving this one.
And who did what with my attendance list? Oh, my back pocket. And
I didn't do
that. one was mine. I have two. Phew.
It's hard to believe, Little Pond people, that it's been what, like 3 years since we last saw you.
Just saw you.
And so first of all, it's very nice to see you actually in person.
Oh, that's right,
It's
that's right.
been a neck up relationship since the beginning.
A pandemic relationship.
And I just want to say.
No, you're not. You're not starting till we open the hearing.
But it's time for pleasantries. I just wanted to say thank you very much for the very thorough denial. It was one of the best. 13 pages, of which 11 was, but the first 11 pages were here's what we've done together since 2022, and last 2 pages. And
Well, and since this is off the record, I will compliment you guys. You guys came in.
The
with
recording
a-
is on.
Oh, well, we have no hearing. You guys came in with a very complete packet this time, so thank you very much.
and I have I have a table of contents as well, if the chair and others.
Do you have copies of it, or do you? Or you got- Okay.
25 years I practiced language law, and I found this is very helpful to me in figuring out what I'm going to say.
Thank you.
and helpful to people who are listening to hear, to figure out what I am saying. So there's more copies, if anybody in the public.
There actually will be more. There has to be more people, or we're
Right.
not having any
I was gonna
hearing.
ask.
We don't have a quorum yet.
Do we expect more people?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We could have a by-election and my wife would be, right, so I have many more of these as they arrive.
Yeah, well, I know that Deb Linus is coming.
Okay.
And Andy Fuji's coming. There's a quorum.
Yeah.
So Wayne's not gonna be moderator anymore, huh?
Oh, this can be moderated.
Oh, I thought we were having a special meeting and that was on there.
You guys
No, you
interested in
have
this,
to
or
do
you're
it
here
for
for
the
something
meeting.
else?
Oh, I thought we do it. Like he's already good for
No,
this
what's happening
year.
at
He said that no.
No, it's not always how it's done though.
Well, I know, but
So
it's,
He's good, and then at the meeting, he gets elected for the following year.
that's what I told him. I didn't want to get on. I don't know.
Oh, that's why I was like,
Our
oh,
town
maybe he's
moderator.
done. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
No, he wants, he's.
I jokingly sent the news article to my son, who's in law school, and I go, your chip has arrived. And he wrote LOL funny.
No, he wants to be.
Actually, it's
But
like,
I
it's
thought
about
he
350 years.
And we do it.
That's what I.
So our house is there,
But
He's good for this
and the second.
meeting coming up, and then he gets elected for the next year. I thought it was fine.
oh, but now he is a quorum.
I told Mayho about the special town meeting, he hadn't heard about it, so.
Land use
He
order.
said, does that mean I could sell the store back to Jeff if you take out the fence?
And, but 16 is
No, not yet.
That's fun.
Well, that would have been nice from the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you for your help. Putting together a.
You're way meetings ahead of me already anyway.
Jim has one for you.
What I'm doing with these.
Jim, we need 2 more of your outlines.
Are you gonna provide this?
I don't know.
That's what,
I think so, because
the whole meeting.
So, put some more. There's 4 copies of that.
And that's a package
No,
of
that's-
fun. Yeah, there should be some, there's a second one.
Seems to be reciprocal.
Plan is to, so,
But you know what, everybody needs to hear it, so it's really. Yeah, I know what they should do. You're eliciting responses for a reason.
No, there were.
I lost my job.
No one's been seeing it, so it doesn't matter. We've owned it
All right,
for,
so we're getting close to-
23 years. So our second house,
Sure.
the first one is down.
It's not like I heard from Toby that he was coming.
Where it first starts out.
I heard he was coming and I never heard from Jeff. That's not, and Laura's away. Yes, oh no, she's like in the Caribbean.
That was our first house.
Oh,
Yes.
We sold it, we needed the money to buy it.
St. Martin.
Which is Dutch?
And French.
I haven't gotten these last 2 people's names.
Margaret, Margareti, Mapelli, Mapelli, and Paul.
No, I go back there.
And let me see who's on the TV. Jim Lennox,
Oh, good.
Jeff Lennox.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Will, can you send me that, please?
Yes, I will. Do we need more chairs? Okay.
All right, we are 2 minutes from kickoff.
Patriots are gonna win.
Something like that. I know. All right, it is 4:58. Actually, just wait at 5:01. Did you have the will?
Okay, is it yours?
No,
Just a few minutes, I get on.
no, it's not.
Okay. Might be.
I wish it was mine.
I do it all the time, I do silly things like that, so.
No idea.
All right, it's 1 minute to 5, and I'm going to call the meeting of the Weston Development Review Board to order. The first item on the agenda is to review the agenda. We have approval of minutes, we have the Little Pond subdivision final plat review, we have the Seckler subdivision request for a particular provision, and then we have time permitted for us, we will enter deliberative session. Any changes to the agenda from committee members?
Do you have minutes?
Next thing on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of January 7th, 2026. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Annie seconded. Any comments, questions, whatever? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes of January 7th, 2026, say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Okay, minutes are been approved. The next item on the agenda is to open up the hearing for the Little Pond subdivision final plat review. It is 5:02, and I'm going to open up the hearing. And we have the hearing at 5:02.
Your phone or your watch talking? It thought that was asking a question.
All right, present for the hearing tonight are the following members of the DRB. Susan Morris, Deborah Linus, Larry Dalzell, and Annie Fuji. And on the on Zoom is Jeff Lennox. We also have the zoning administrator here. And for the applicant, we have
Jim Murphy
okay.
and Krista
Kristen
Murphy.
Okay,
We're two of the four members of the LLC that owns the property.
okay, and
And then Ted Reeves, who is our engineer and has done the design work.
And we do have many members of the public. We do have a list of those, and you were.
I've gotten everybody except for whoever just came through the door.
Toby.
We have one chair in the corner. Right here. Oh, over there. Yeah. So you see the table.
So Toby, just to bring you up to date, we've opened up the hearing and we have noted that who's here for the Development Review Board, and we also have Toby Smiles who's here for the Development Review Board, and we have various members of the public. All right, the hearing will be conducted in accordance with the Development Review Board Rules of Procedure, a copy of which is on the town website. The hearing was warned by the zoning administrator in accordance with state requirements. And you can provide us a copy of the notice that appeared in the Vermont Journal. The required notice was sent to abutters. Okay, that's a shaking of his head, I think means yes.
Yes,
And we got returned receipts
yes.
and the ZA to provide names and addresses of abutters to Deb Linus.
Okay.
Any of the board members have any conflict of interest to disclose? Any ex parte conversations? No. All right, according to state law, only persons who have participated in the hearing have the right to appeal the decision of the DRB. Therefore, all attendees provide contact information to the zoning administrator, which you have done, so that we can provide you with copies of the decision. In addition, all persons, including applicants, who might be giving testimony or are speaking tonight are required to take the following oath. What I'm gonna do here is I'm going to ask the people who are here for the Little Pond matter to take this oath now, and we'll save, because we're gonna go through this again for the Seckler subdivision, and we'll have people who are here for the Seckler subdivision take the oath for the Seckler subdivision. So
They, at one point, they were saying they were gonna testify at the friends and visitors attending the hearing portion. We're gonna put them off until Seckler starts.
yes. Well, that's, if you go by the order of the agenda, yes. Okay. I apologize for that, but we have to follow our agenda. The oath is as follows for the three people in the back, or the three people, just raise your hand and I'm gonna read it. You can just say yes, or I hereby swear. Excuse me. I hereby swear that the evidence I give in this case shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under penalties of perjury.
Yes, I do.
3 yeses, great, okay. The hearing is being recorded, which you already heard about. The general flow of the hearing will be that I will be asking the applicant to discuss their application and why final approval should be granted, including compliance with the DRB decision of March 9th, 2023. The ZA will be given the opportunity to comment. The DRB members may ask questions. Members of the public may ask questions, and that includes you guys. You can ask questions if you have any questions. And applicant responds to questions, and then we ask for final comments. At the end of the hearing, the DRB decides whether to close or recess the hearing to a date certain. Hopefully, we'll be able to close the hearing and not recess it. If the hearing is closed, we have 45 days to render a decision. Any questions from anybody on the process of the conduct of the hearing? Okay. Actually, I'm now gonna maybe turn this over to either the applicant or Will. We do have Will prepared like a, I don't know, that's a list of documents. Maybe Little Pond would like to tell us, Mr. Murphy, you like to maybe, do you wanna go through your like little?
He has his own indexing.
Okay, do you wanna go through yours?
Madam Chair, if I could see the list of what everybody else has, then I would be able to talk about it. Thank you very much. No, that's my outline of what I hope to talk about. Is there a list of documents that might
Right.
be in
Right.
Yes. There you go. Well, there are two there. No.
Here. Here, I'll
share
hand you mine.
Share, can't wait. Oh, okay.
I'll hand you mine. Here you go.
pretty much the same thing.
But now you don't have mine.
First blush, Madam Chair, this looks complete.
Okay,
I have some additional things that whatever you want me to get going, I'll get going. I'm talking about what else.
you can get going.
All right, I'm gonna get going. Thank you. You're already up. Introduction, my name is Jim Murphy. I'm my wife Kristen, our good friend and engineer Ted Reeves, and we have a whole team of people that worked on this, including our very good friend Bill Dakin, who retired recently. He was our lawyer for many years, like 30 years. The rest of the team is listed on the last page of your care. There's quite a team. There's quite a bit of detail involved in doing this. I wrote a letter on January 7th to the DRB. It's a cover letter to our application for approval of the final plat. And at that time, I wrote it noting certain things that were going to happen soon, and they have happened, and I'll go over those things. So that any gaps that were identified, the letter was, in our view, saying we think we've met all of the outstanding issues, which were called out in the very detailed 13-page denial that we got on March 9th of 2023. And now I was saying earlier before we were on the record, it was the nicest denial I've ever got. And the great part is provided a checklist of what else should we do and what have we gotten accomplished. So if the DR members are familiar with the what we got accomplished portion of this, I can skip over all of that, other than to say thank you for all those various approvals, the sketch plan, the various waivers.
I think it'd be good to just repeat, for the recording and also the things that you have accomplished.
Oh, yes, well, so now I'm gonna turn to my outline and discuss those things.
Oh, okay, great.
So,
Okay.
The approach system helps me figure out, say, make sure it's complete. So there's been two things that have happened since then. The outstanding items, which was required. Starts 23. So like other things, the bill totally improvements on the site. All of
The
which were done.
microphone's not picking this up well.
Thank you, Jeff. We're gonna move the microphone into the center of the table.
You say, I saw it over there. I said, can anybody hear anything?
Okay.
Is everybody able to hear me?
Yeah.
I would get a little closer to when the heat's on.
Sure. That would be very nice if you would do that.
And,
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, hopefully when the library is reopened and has a nice big room, we'll all be
I'll be
sitting
up
in
there.
the big room in the library.
Great, so,
Is that facing the right direction now?
And the video is much better now too.
is that better? Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Everything I said so far is true, even if you didn't hear it, but, so, we took the March 9th denial as a checklist, and then we also had many other things we had to get done. So notably, since March 9th, we have built the road, has had two inspections by the town engineer. The first inspection in 24, one section of it was slightly too steep, and we had received a waiver to have a 20-foot width, and there were some sections that were just under 20 feet. So we've cured those things, and the fact that they're cured is memorialized in the letter from MSK, the engineering firm, to you all on January 9th. The inspection was January 8th, and my letter was January 7th. So the thing that we had to build was the fire pond, and that has been inspected. And we had to build the stormwater system, and that was a great concern because we had to get a permit to do that from the A&R. And as I read the 23 denial decision, not only should we get the permit, but we should build the improvements, and the improvements were significant on the stormwater system. And as an overview, it took 31 months and $300,000, 180 of which was professional fees and 160 of which to build the stormwater. Because we have proposed that the water these are the stormwater features that are required and have been built. Our initial proposal was to say, look, this is the uphill side of the road. Everything goes downhill. This little river, which is now called Smalls Group, until that was unnamed, and we own it, so we're going to name it the Smalls Group. We have 3 children, 3 Smalls. It's named after them. Everything flows that way. So we proposed that we would leave 90% of the entire property forested. Because under the other
Can I just stop you for a second? For those, there are some, 2 new board members who are not familiar with anything about this project. Can you just sort of orient them to where the project
sure.
is and where, how you enter it from Andover and that kind of thing?
Can't get there from west.
No, these are the 2 board members right
These are our
here.
2 new board members here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, Jimmy Chris's house is here. This is Little Pond Road here. It's a big beaver pond, and that's right here. It's owned by our neighbors, the Israels. And our driveway comes out here. This is where the subdivision is being proposed. Town line is right here. drawings that were handed out. Show the new board members. If you want to look at the smaller one, you can see this one. Sheet 2 of 10.
And I think one of the important things he said is that you can't get the subdivision from Weston.
From Weston, right?
Only can get to, and remind us, are 2 of the lots in Andover?
Portions of
Portion of it,
3 of them.
okay.
Two, three. So here's the town line. And so again, went in 2022 to the town of Andover for subdivision approval. And their approval, their process, I would call lickety split. It is, it's terrific from the applicant's viewpoint, but it doesn't really get you where you want to go. What they say is, if you have your frontage and you have enough acreage and the lot sizes are okay, you're good. It's up to you at a later time to get stormwater permits if needed. To get septic approvals, which that's my observation. That the question says, it's great, you gotta have the right area, the frontage, and this and that, and you have to do everything you have to do before we approve it. And so we've done everything we think that we have to do. But that's the major difference between the two. So I'm going to go back to Andover because at the time, none of this was happening. People who buy these lots have to do what this is a good example down here. This is what's called a
Gravel,
wetland.
okay.
It's made up of 2 parts. It's a rectangular hole in the ground. Mr. Reeves is here, not as a potted plant, like in the here. But Ted, you want to just describe what the gravel wetlands do?
Right, so there's 2 parts to the gravel wetland. What they do, looking at this one is pond number 5. The stormwater comes down the driveway from lot 7 and goes into a forebay, which is essentially a small kettle pond. And that's where the majority of the sediments fall out of the water. And then the water falls over a central berm into what is actually the gravel wetland part. And that's the part that's designed to purify the water, treat the stormwater before it gets discharged off of the property. In this case, there's a pipe here that goes out and drops the treated stormwater out towards that wetland. So that's all designed to happen in essentially 2 spots, the forebay and then the actual gravel wetland.
This is important is we've already built some impervious surface. And we anticipate that people will hopefully buy the lots and build houses. And so the roof, driveway, and the road are all impervious surface. And a raindrop landing in the forest just stays there and soaks into the ground. A raindrop landing on the road, the roof, other impervious surfaces, accelerates, goes in one direction. So the water is accelerated and concentrated. And accelerated and concentrated water picks up sediments. Sediments become pollution. And if it ever reached the brook down here, which we didn't think it ever would, but if it did, because it had like a half mile of forest to get through, but if it ever did, then it would make the brook shallower, and whoever's living in the brook would like that. So I'm all about environmental permits. I make my living getting people permits, so I understand the reason for all that. So reading the regulations, we decided let's build everything that's required. Generally, what the chair called the infrastructure or the required improvements. So everything is done, one exception. Each of these gravel wetlands has to have plants. Right. Plants and stuff. So, these plants, you can only get them in North Carolina. And these designs are originally cooked up by the University of New Hampshire, I guess.
Correct.
Right. So special plants, and so the cost of the plants, it comes in 3 parts: 1 to buy the plants, 2 to ship them, and 3 to put them in. And that, in our best estimation, came to just under $3,600. So we sent a check to the town, $3,600 as a proposed bond. And that's an open question, but that's, as far as I know, it. I'm gonna cover all the other closed questions, but that's it. My hope, and I'll say this again at the end, is to have an approval subject to completion of Plan 2, or because we want to take this to market. I just turned 74 and I've been working on this for a long time, and here we go. So we got the road bill. The driveways are roughed in, but they're not done, and they all have to be under the town regulations at the state standard, which is 10%. Some towns are 15% grade, Weston is 10. And some of them pretty steep, so they need more work, but they've been roughed in so you can get there. And so let me get back to the outline. So we got the stormwater permit, and it was 31 months, and it was a significant sums of money to get that done. We submitted the inspection fee, which is required, and it's been paid, and the inspection's been done. And the town engineer, this is at number 2C down at the bottom of the first page, has done 2 inspections. And on the 9th, they sent the letter. Proper work. One of the other requirements of the 23-mile checklist was to record the easement deed approved by the town attorney. And to a map. Everybody in the room is interested to know what's going to be the name of the map. This is the map we propose to be the name of the map. Normally, doing a subdivision, you wouldn't show all this stuff. You wouldn't show the stormwater features and the drainage and the gravel wetlands and so forth, because people are just buying lots. And there you go. But I believe that the map that's on the page, so that this map I'm about to show you is a derivative of this. So this shows the same lots, but with all the detail. And if somebody decides to buy the lot and they get a lawyer and they go to the land records and you've recorded this map, then they will know not only in the typewritten deed that they have to comply with these things, but they'll see it on the map. Stormwater permit has annual reporting responsibilities, so forth, and we've already reported the first year is complete. Let's see, other progress on improvements. Oh, so we have not yet recorded the deed, but we will. We're gonna get that recorded and then record everything and move ahead.
Just, that is only recorded in Andover. Is that correct? Lot number 11?
No, let me talk about lot number 11.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were on lot number 11. No, okay.
He was talking about the paperwork.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Just describe the lot number 11 and which town it's in.
Oh, sure.
How
I'll
it can
take
be
you to
accessed.
all the lots. So,
Yeah.
The lowest number lot is 5 because there were other lots and they were in Andover and they were approved and we sold them. So, and then the Jim and Kristen house, lot 1 from many years ago, and our partners, it was lot 2, and then we sold 3 and 4. So the first lot that's under consideration tonight and not yet approved is 5, and it's right here. And then here's 6. So 5 is in round numbers 10.03 acres. And there's the town line. So most of it is Andover and there's a little bit in Weston. So you guys have jurisdiction, but there's not much to worry about because we're not proposing any development there. Lot 6 is 10.55 acres. Similarly, there's the town line right there. And the development's going to be here. Lot 7 is here, and it's bisected by the town line. So as you turn in the new road, you're in Andover, but within a couple 100 feet, you get up the road and you go into Weston. and the house and so forth is there. And when we calculated how much the improvements were in order to pay the 1% for the inspection fee, we included this Andover feature because it serves Western land. We want to be good about it. When we're good about things, we like to bring it up and mention. So then we get to lot 7, and actually it's about half and half in the two towns. But here's the Andover part. But the jelly of the jelly donut for this lot is here. It's a very nice spot. Lot 8 is completely in Weston because here's the town line again. Lot 9 is the filet mignon of the whole project. If you're out there and you want to take a walk, it's absolutely beautiful area. You can see very steep topo lines, and it's going to be just a great thing. And you have nice views to the west and so forth. Lot 10 is here, 16.12 acres. It runs from the road and goes down to the river. And then we get to lot 11, coming around this way. Lot 11 is unique in that it comes to a point. It has its access to get to and from the public highway as a matter of fee title, the ownership of the property, by virtue of a 50-foot easement, which is here, and which appears in the approval given by Andover. And it's right there, and that's a recorded map. Here's the town line, so you don't have to worry about it, but wondering how we're going to get there, that's it. On a practical basis, we decided while we were we went in with some machinery to get this gravel wetland built because it was part of what's necessary. And this looked pretty nice as a way of getting there, so we're showing that as we're going to get that figured out. And when it comes time to sell, we're going to, instead of having the people go this way, we're going to have them go down this way and that way. And I don't think it's a concern for this board. I'm going to bring the Andover people up. I don't know if they have. We've already done the 3 phases, so they might have phase 4, informal update or whatever they like to have. So lot 11 is pretty cool though. It's here, and then it follows the river, and then it's bordered by lot 9, and then it's bordered by the former DeSalle property.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's bordered up here by our neighbors that are over here on this side of the room, and the Seckler property. And then it's bordered by the Bosch property. And then it's bordered by the Jim and Kristen property and the Casado property. And then it comes back down to here for a total of 184.18 acres. And when we were here last, we were not proposing lot 11 as a building lot. It was just going to be an extra parcel because I was planning, my wife and I were going to buy it from our partners and just add it onto our land. But if we ever wanted to sell it, we'd have to go back. So we decided we'd do it now. So any discussion of these lots have always included the intent to develop as soon as possible, and we're now including that one with that intent to develop this. We're not going to develop them as soon as possible. We're going to sell them 2 at a time. So, again, not your concern, but we're not going to build the whole thing out other than required improvements. And then it's just beautiful down here. But we have a ton of soils mapping, and here's the little river. And for about a quarter mile on either side, there are no-go soils, either wetlands or won't support a septic and so forth. So this is going to be for walking around and so forth. It's going to be what I call grandfather land. Roger was going to say, well, grandfather Murphy, what a great idea. Yeah, so there we go.
So, Mr. Murphy, I have a question. So originally this was called a 7-lot subdivision. So does this lot make it an 8-lot subdivision?
No.
It's still, this
lot 11
was there before.
was there before. It just didn't have septic approval.
I get you.
So I was not holding it out as a buildable lot at
Okay.
that time. And then I realized that was silly. Plus we had a 31-month trip up to the A&R, so we had a great opportunity to get that done. So, and all the septic permits I gave to Will earlier tonight, they're all in your file now. As is the A&R permit and Ted's statement of compliance saying to the A&R, we've built these things, and in fact, we have.
And have you decided on a name? What are we calling, what is the name gonna be?
This is called the Deb Grandquist Memorial.
Denial of the decision, right? Okay,
Fine your vote.
no, you said for the map,
Barn Owl Lane.
okay,
For the drawing.
For the
title.
drawing.
She wants the drawing too.
Oh, this is the Ted Reeves sheet 2 of 10, and it's in,
okay,
it's
And that's what's gonna be the Mylar.
Yes.
that one's
this is
gonna
gonna
be
be the
my
Mylar. And then the Mylar is gonna show everything here, plus anything that you think ought to be added. So it's not Mylar material yet.
Okay,
It's been revised through January 26th of this year. And I think it's ready to roll. But if you want to add other things, Ted, are there any other things that we wanted to add? We're up through note 7. Anything else?
At this point, I think that drawing's complete and it's ready to be filed if it's approved tonight.
okay,
Right. When we put the signature blocks and the like on there, we're gonna reissue this in an Andover version for the informal update, to see if they want to sign it again or not. But if they don't, when we go to sell, I think I mentioned I'm a lawyer, that we're make sure that people know they have to do this stuff. That's it.
all right, so, Will, do you have anything you need or want to add?
No, I think they did a pretty thorough job.
All right, members of the DRB, including Jeff, any questions, any?
Well, but that's for deliberation, yeah. We have to talk about the springtime plantings and the.
Right, I
Well,
mean, if you,
let me, if I may. One of the things I've said in my practice as a land use lawyer, many boards and only very few of them agree to this, but would it not be possible to have a deliberative session before the public hearing closes? So if something comes up,
no, 'cause we have another hearing here, so.
yes. Oh, all right, so, or hold it over.
Unfortunately not, I mean, I appreciate your request, but, we need to hear from the second subdivision, and we need time to sit down and digest this, and so we will try to be getting you a approval as opposed to a denial, but I can't speak for the entire board, but we will try to get that to you as quickly as possible.
So here's a question, because we were thinking of sticking around to hear what happens.
We're not gonna be in a position to render it, well, you can stick around, but as I said, we have another
Yes, no, I understand. It's good.
hearing to do.
So we would stick around if there's anything you wanted to know, but then I wouldn't be allowed to say it because the public hearing had closed.
Right,
So,
I think at this point, it's up to you to tell us that you've given us everything that you possibly have thought about and can give us. And it's up to us to decide whether we feel like we have enough information to be able to close the hearing and make our decision, okay? So,
there is
Yes.
one,
go ahead.
I apologize. If you turn to the second page. Here's the request for final plat approval, and 5, here's what we see. Not happened yet, because we didn't get before yet, but update the map as necessary. Sheet 2 of 10 in the Reeves says, we file Reeves 2 sets of Reeves drawings. Reeves stormwater drawings, which is more workshops and so forth. These, which are the sheet 2 of 10. If that passes muster, we'll produce a Mylar and get it signed. Then we'll do the Mylar and easement deeds and record them.
And the easement deeds, just to refresh my recollection here, as we're going through this, the easement deed has been approved,
It has been,
okay?
as to form, but as to content, it's gonna be, my draft.
But that's over in Andover, right?
No, because, the entire thing depends upon the fact that the A&R was allowing us to go ahead with this. So each piece each person who buys one of these lots has to agree. And I'm going to impose an easement saying you have to maintain that pond under the A&R permit.
And so we don't have that easement yet,
I haven't
language
written
yet.
it
What?
I haven't written it yet.
Okay, so that might be a condition.
And are there HOA covenants to get
Those
those?
have been reviewed. There's a whole bunch of stuff that Bill Dakin, HOA is formed, it's a Vermont non-for-profit corporation. There are HOA bylaws, there's a whole packet of
Mhm.
things which I see, frankly, as post-approval, it's very hard to write to a hypothetical. You can't write an easement deed saying if this is the map. I mean, you could, but
So, because I'm just trying to make sure that we are able to know what things need to be accomplished, so that we can approve the Mylar.
so
And
that's.
so
that's-
it,
that's
so
fine.
it, we need to see, I'm not sure if we need to see the easement deed, or we need to just have knowledge that there has to be an adequate easement deed, but that's up to
Okay,
the board to decide. Secondly, if we didn't address the homeowners association in our 2023, our infamous denial letter, which, if we didn't address it in there, then that wasn't addressed, so.
right, but the homeowners association is the holder of the permit, and your denial, and hopefully your approval says you have to abide by that permit, so the permit says you gotta have the homeowners association, and we do. And they've gotta stick with this plan, and we will.
Okay.
So there's only so many times you go around to say, you know.
All right, so if the homeowners association is the owner, is gonna hold the permit, what is the name of the homeowners association? Because
The
we,
Barn Owl Lane Association,
okay,
and
Barn Owl Land.
Lane.
Landon.
Lane.
No,
Lane.
Lane. I put it on the file here because I recognize that there's other things that have to happen,
Mhm.
but I don't think they are pre-DRB approval things, they're real estate conveyancing things. You know, it's up to Jim and Kristen and our partners to make sure that we have these lots in full compliance with all necessary permits, and we've got the permits. And we want the buyers to know that. So the permits are recorded on the land records, and the permits recite all of this.
And Will, do you know, refresh my recollection, what does,
Oh, and I'm sorry,
No, go
Madam Chair,
ahead.
but the notes also tie back to the A&R permit, saying this, and everybody on this map when they buy it is subject to the A&R permit.
because do our subdivision regulations say anything about homeowners associations?
I don't know one way yet, but we have one, so.
I'm getting my towns confused, so I don't.
No, I know, I mean, I appreciate that you have one, I'm just trying to figure out if we have any responsibility over it, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
The big distinction is all of these infrastructure things that were built to town standards and approved by the town engineer, are they gonna be the future responsibility of the town? The answer is no. The future responsibility of the HOA.
And so maybe that's what the condition is, that caring for those things is, in the homeowners association, it has to make clear that it's the obligation of the landowners to have responsibility for maintenance, et cetera, of the.
I agree, it's definitely an important concept. What I would suggest is a recitation that the board understands from the applicant that the HOA will be, and the plot owners that make up the HOA will be responsible for maintaining all the improvements on the map.
So,
Because that's.
But that's not in writing yet, right?
so
No,
we'll,
it is. It's right here.
we'll just-
No, no, you mentioned you haven't drafted anything as far as when you convey the lots to the new owners.
Right, that's gonna,
Committing them to making sure that they maintain them.
so when I do a conveyance deed,
But that has not been drafted yet, is my question, that language.
nor is it part of your subdivision regulations.
no, I
I'm not
just
saying
think it
I'm
is.
just asking.
It is?
It is, thanks to Will here. Okay, so our legal data that's required is, and so let's kind of talk about whether we have all these things.
Okay,
And I'm just trying to protect you and the future homeowners,
I'm all in.
et cetera, and us too. So, okay, we are supposed to have, and these things are supposed to have been reviewed by the town attorney. The deed description and a map of survey of tract boundary made and certified by a licensed land surveyor tied into established boundary monuments. So, do we have that?
What section are we at?
260. You need a copy?
Yes, that's this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Section 260 is entitled legal data.
Deed description, map or survey of. Established boundary monuments. Okay, the monuments have been placed and Mr. Rapinati, our surveyor, has filed with the town
Okay,
a map, his survey map, which doesn't show all this other stuff, but it shows the lot
so
lines.
you're saying that you have met number one?
Yes.
Okay, number two is offers of cession and dedicating streets, rights of ways and sites for, that's NA.
Does not apply.
Does
Not
not
doing it.
apply. All right, then here's where the homeowners association would come in. Copies of agreements showing the manner in which areas reserved by the subdivider are to be maintained. So what it sounds like is that, and again, I'm speaking for myself at the moment, not how our board might decide, but it sounds like if we want to approve the final plat subject to getting that, the copies of the agreements showing the manner in which, and maybe it's just, maybe you say like, okay, here's the language that will be in that.
No, I'm happy to generate
Okay.
these things.
All right.
I'd love it if it was a condition subject to.
And that's what,
So we can, settle the open issues down. So.
right, so it sounds like,
3 and 4.
and then
are
4
arguably,
draft protective covenants whereby the subdivider proposes to regulate land use in the subdivision and otherwise protect the proposed development.
Right, so that covers primarily, and it's already part of the record in the file and it's already recorded in the land records in part about the A&R and the stormwater stuff. But it's my intention to say no outside spotlights, don't put any
And
RVs.
wetlands.
Excuse me?
And wetlands.
And wetlands, we have a wetlands permit as well.
Mhm.
So the deeds will say, you guys, you people buying are subject to the A&R stormwater and the wetlands. But there are things under 4 that we've never discussed, such as no RVs parked in the front yard for 6 months, or whatever we decide to do on that score. If you'd like to see those, I'm happy to send them to you and the town attorney.
So I guess the question is, and this is sort of a general question because I don't know the answer to it. That's why I'm asking it. I don't think we being DRB particularly cares whether you can't hang your wash outside or something. But I do think that we care about making sure that there's maintenance agreements, that the road is going to be taken care of and all of that kind of stuff. So it's the stuff about protecting, the infrastructure of the subdivision that I think is what we would be interested in. And does that make sense? Is that sort of making, we're not committing ourselves yet?
Definitely.
So maybe we'd like to see the language stating that the new owners are gonna maintain the storm system.
Yeah.
And who to call if they don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, a previous subdivision, which was actually going forward at the same time your subdivision was, and they actually withdrew their subdivision, having never gotten a denial. But
Anticipatory
they did provide us with those kinds of protective, or drafts of those protected covenants. And I think those are important. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to tread on difficult ground here. I think that's one of the reasons that those people are all lined up over there. So
No, I think you're
I think
absolutely right.
that,
Not that it's up to me anyway, but the reason I think you're right is the town, whether the town owns the road or not, town has a strong municipal government interest in it being well maintained. So that
Fire protection,
emergency
you know,
response,
emergency response, et cetera, so that
Ambulances,
people
so
can get there.
and also to minimize calls to town hall saying my road is full of potholes. And then you have to say, well, it's not our road, it's your road, and so forth. But no, there's a clear municipal objective. So we're,
And I think what we as a board have to grapple with, are we happy? And then we should sort of answer this question before we either close the hearing. Are we happy with putting that as a condition to be fulfilled post approval of the final plat, or are we thinking that we really shouldn't approve the final plat till we get and see that language? And if we can't decide, what we really ought to do is we ought to schedule you at our next meeting. And if we can decide that we don't have to have that, you don't have to come back, but if we can't decide, then it's warned and available in case we need it.
that's great. You know, we'd like to come and run as often as possible. But I also think that this, so that we're not chasing our tail on this can be, you can take section 260 sub 4 and make it a condition that the applicant has to submit the documentation as called for by sub 4 to the satisfaction of the DRB and the town attorney.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we will
then,
decide.
within 37 days or 60 days or before the signature on the Mylar. You know, I'm suspecting that there'll be a pre-Mylar checklist, because either we'll close this and the board will think of something else, or we'll think of something else or something. But
I would prefer, for your sake and ours, if we do not close it, but we continue it to the next meeting, which is the first Wednesday in
March.
What's the next month?
March.
The first Wednesday in March. We'll continue this hearing till then, knowing that we may or may not need it, but at least it's there in case we need it. We may be able to solve the issues exactly as you would hope, but I don't want to speak for the board right now. Are there different thoughts from people than what I'm suggesting?
Well, I guess the other question I would have is that if we don't formally close it now, then does it wait to March to get closed, or
Yes,
even though
We're just continuing.
we would continue, okay, if we close the hearing now and we find that there's additional, when we go into deliberative session, we find that there's additional information that, oh my gosh, we should have asked for that. We then have to go through the expense and aggravation of rewarning. putting a
I'm
notice-
thinking more in the opposite of that. It's like if everything is fine, we're ready to go, we still have to wait till the end of March or.
No, we would not.
Because
We
it
would-
wouldn't be
It
actually
would be a
closed
moot,
and.
it would be moot. In other words, if we decide in our deliberative session that we're okay with adding A, B, and C to the Mylar as a condition, or to the decision, if we're okay with that, we would just issue that, and we would, when March, whatever it is, March, whatever comes up, we would open up the hearing and close the hearing, because there would be no more business to do. Does that sound right to people in the?
And,
I guess
no.
I'm okay with adding it as a contingent, because I feel they've shown along that they have really, by the letter, all the things that we had recommended, and they do have stated that this is something that's important to them too. And if they're looking for verbiage and a final copy to submit, I'd be okay with that as a contingent. I mean, and I
As a
think
condition to.
as a
You would
condition,
close the hearing.
close the hearing, but as a condition, with receiving the wording and that document.
Can I have a,
As a condition to approval.
The Mylar. I mean, approve the Mylar, but there are certain conditions that, for example, have been expressed that they will have, but they just don't have the wording right now.
We have to do that for the plantings anyways.
We have to do it for the plant.
Yeah.
So I think that given what they've demonstrated to this point in their adherence to all those conditions and everything in our first denial,
Thank you.
that
Thank you very
I would
much.
be okay with that.
So I want to just go around the room. Jeff, how do you feel with that, about that? Do you know?
I tend to agree with Annie. I see this as an administrative step.
Okay.
Where the Mylar is really about the development, the lots, the protection, the stormwater, all the stuff. I guess I'm not picturing any information lacking there in that the language that we're talking about here is more administrative. And if it's so correct me if I'm wrong, if it's a condition, if for some reason what they produce is not acceptable, that's the safety net, right?
Right.
It's if it's not approvable for some reason, then they'll have to modify it.
They would not have met that condition. Do Mylars get corrected to take a condition off of it, or?
I have a way I think that everybody might be pleased. If you were to approve it, and Will called us because we'll be around the corner having dinner, we'll come back and say thank you, but if you approve it, subject to the 260.4, and identify that, which is a key municipal objective, memorialization, so that people know they have to take care of this infrastructure. But that is a precondition to the signing of the Mylar. Because we're not going anywhere with these lots until we have a Mylar.
Mhm.
There's not a buyer in the world that's going to buy these lots, and nothing's going to happen. And I'm trying to get out of the nothing's going to happen phase. And
I totally understand. I just want to hear from our other DRB members. Are DRB members happy going with the suggestion of Annie and the support of Jeff, or do people feel
I don't
differently?
know, I'm reading literally what it says. Before you can approve the plat, it has to have these things. I don't know. I read things literally, so I don't know. But I actually,
So you're asking
from a
sorry.
practical standpoint, I don't care, but it says before you can approve it, you have to have these things. And they have to be reviewed by the town attorney. So are we just gonna bypass that?
No, it would be,
Well,
presumably it would be a condition that it.
Yeah,
would
but
have-
that's after, it says before.
We're waiving the session and dedicating streets.
Okay,
So there is some.
so we're really waiving
flexibility.
all of them because we're waiving the fact that they won't be provided beforehand?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that.
I don't know.
All right, so we need to go around. Deb, do you have any comment or not, or?
No, I agree with Andy that they've been really careful to meet all of our conditions so far, so I trust that we can work it out.
Just so I understand, we're closing it, but we're not giving final approval until those two items are satisfied. The language and the plantings, is that
Yes.
correct?
That would be my understanding, yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
well, then it would have to be a condition, because I can't submit. I can only submit new info, such as the letter from the town attorney saying, I like your easement deed, if the public hearing's open. So I'm hoping that you will close and make it a condition that,
We're not gonna decide whether we're gonna make it a condition like that. And we're gonna,
you wanna hash it out.
yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not really even like 100% sure. If it's a condition to final approval, then somebody has to sign off on it that it's been met. And so does that presumably would have to happen in another hearing? Is that?
I don't think you're understanding my proposal. My proposal is that the provision of let's call them the infrastructure maintenance easement deed approved by the town attorney. The completion of that step, I'm proposing as a precondition to the signing of the Mylar.
Another way it's done is you can make it a condition that no building permits can be written until
Well, then you have lot owners saying, why can't I get my permit? No, you're totally protected. If you don't sign the Mylar, I'm not going anywhere.
So we make it as a condition not to final plat approval, but a condition to signing of the Mylar?
Yes, and you could also make it as part of that condition that reference to the easement deed be added on the Mylar. I think it's
Well,
already in
the
there.
main question here is closing the hearing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we close the hearing, well, let's say that the hearing is open, we're still looking for that info. If we're closing the hearing because we don't think we need, we're not going to have additional questions. I guess I've been on it long enough that, and maybe if the boards have done it wrong, I don't know, that having conditions is not unusual.
Plus you have 45 days
For what?
to decide.
Right, but you
You
would
can
like to
close the
know,
hearing and you don't have to vote the approval. You can take a sense of the meeting and make us all feel good or something, but
all right, well,
if
and
the
then,
town
and then if
attorney
we,
says this is the worst deed I've ever seen, then you don't have
but
to.
you're not
approve
gonna be giving us the worst, you're not gonna be giving us. You're not gonna be giving us the deed till after our 45 days.
it. No, I'm gonna be giving you the deed sometime,
Next week.
in 1
Tomorrow.
or 2 or 3 business days. I'm
I was
gonna,
gonna say, why can't we get this done
But
and
then why are we haggling over this?
Yeah.
You'll be giving us the things I'm looking
And
for.
then the
Well,
town attorney can review it and the next
Yeah,
meeting
and-
we can approve it?
Yeah,
Right.
I would think
That
that
to
that
me
would be
seems
the,
the most logical
I would
step.
think that would be the easiest thing,
Right.
would be that,
Mhm.
because that gives everybody the flexibility. If we recess the hearing till, March, whatever that date is, March
March.
4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my fourth.
Yeah.
I'll
And
be on the
then,
airplane.
and we will, I mean, we're not
I
gonna
won't be
get,
here either.
with all due respect to your timing and stuff, we're not gonna be getting you a decision within, I don't know, like 10 or 15 days. So you're not gonna know where we stand on any of the stuff. I don't know, given the time that we are at now, whether we will have any time for deliberative session this evening, because we have a whole other hearing to hear.
but let's accommodate the process, the board members, the neighbors and everybody else. Keep it open.
Okay,
Perhaps we can make, before we close this session without closing the hearing, we could make sure we have a consensus on what are the open items, because I came into this meeting saying I have a couple of open items, and if there's others, which I thought there might be.
well, I think
Isn't it 3 and 4?
there's, and the storm, springtime plantings.
Plan.
Yeah.
There's the springtime plantings and the items in 3 and 4.
But we bonded the springtime plantings, right?
Well, no, but it's just a condition that it gets done.
Oh, yeah,
No,
no,
that's-
but that's a condition of approval. See, I'm not suggesting any more, because I don't think that the board wants to do it, that the town attorney approval of the easement deeds be a condition of approval. It sounds to me like you want that approval before the town attorney review, before you vote to approve. So I'm
Maybe
saying,
it's late. I'm not following what you're
Yeah,
saying.
Well,
and we won't submit it.
I think
but
the
town
the
attorney
point
can-
is, it doesn't need to be a condition as long as it gets reviewed for the approval. So if they're producing that material quickly.
Right. So you're right. So
All we're
we don't
talking about
need
is keeping the hearing open, not.
Right, we don't need to have, these would not, you're right, these would not be conditions, it's just bring them in for the final
Right,
before the
right,
final
That's
hearing,
all.
Because
approved.
the hearing's open, so they can submit it, and
Yeah.
and then it'll all be done ahead of approval of the plan. Or the plat.
I'm not sure I understand. I'm happy to abide by the proposal, but I'm not sure what it is.
That you will get to us, to be given to the town attorney, the required agreements under 3 and 4.
263 and 4, right?
Yep, 263 and 4, and we will hopefully get them reviewed prior to the March,
Fourth
whatever the
meeting.
date is, March 4th hearing. And at that point, we will be able to should be able to issue the final approval and the Mylar, et cetera.
Mhm.
Right.
And would you like to have a tieback to those town attorney approved infrastructure maintenance easement deeds on the Mylar?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's Will's. That's up to Will.
It's fine with us. If you're buying a lot, you're getting an easement over your land for this, and you have to maintain it.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, might as well.
So we'll
Why
put that
not?
on there too. So we'll change that. We'll add number 8 here,
Okay,
which is not yet done. This is an empty space there, and
good,
away we go.
very good.
All right.
All right,
Thank you
so,
all.
can I have a
Thank
motion
you.
to recess this hearing until March 4th?
So moved.
Motion and seconding it.
Second.
Any further discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passed, and we'll see you on, and if you guys wanna do it that way, you're more than welcome.
No, our house is right here, so.
Okay.
We also own 218 acres of land in Weston, so I don't think we're not residents, but we're citizens.
Okay, and taxpayers, that's,
Thank you all very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
30 days, thank you.
All right,
No, we're gonna leave, right? You don't need
Yeah,
anything.
No, you're all set.
you're welcome to stay and enjoy if you want, but you're also welcome to leave.
They have a dinner reservation.
I hope that Mr. Seckler is successful, and I've talked to him, and he's,
Mr. Maxwell.
Maxwell.
actually,
oh, yes, yeah, pardon me, successor junior.
Okay, so little pond, little pond, little pond,
Yeah.
Seckler, I got a Seckler. So. All right, moving along, and we are now at 6 o'clock. And I'm sorry to the people who are here for the Seckler subdivision, that we are behind schedule. I apologize for that, but we are. But you were here, so you now know why we are behind schedule. Just 1 second here. Okay. All right, I'm going to open up, and I'm going to introduce people in a second, but I'm opening up the hearing for the so-called Seckler subdivision at 6 o'clock. And present for tonight are the same members of the Development Review Board that were here for the other one. So, and I think all the members of the public know this, but maybe we should introduce our person on the phone. I mean, on Zoom soon. So who is on Zoom for us?
Hi, everyone. I'm Joel Maxwell. I'm here joining from Zoom. And my husband and I are the owners of the Glen Rock, of the Seckler land.
Okay, Joel Maxwell. And Joel, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members of the general public here. And for the Development Review Board, there is me. I am Deborah Granquist. I'm the chair. We also have Susan Morris. We have Deb Linus. We have Toby Smiles. We have Larry Dalzell and Annie Fuji. And you know Will, our zoning administrator. All right. I'm going to be repetitive because the members of the public have already heard me say this, but you haven't, so I'm going to go through my little litany. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with the Development Review Board Rules of Procedure, a copy of which is on the town website. The hearing was warned by the zoning administrator in accordance with state requirements, and Will's going to get us a copy of he has a copy of the notice in the Vermont Journal. And the notice was sent to abutters. Okay. Does anyone on the board have a conflict of interest to disclose? And or an ex parte communication?
No.
Okay. According to state law, only persons who are participated in the hearing have the right to appeal the decision of the DRB. Therefore, all attendees have provided contact information. All persons, including applicants who might be giving testimony or speaking tonight, are required to take the following oath. And I'm gonna read the oath, but I'll read the oath real quickly. No, anybody who thinks they're gonna testify should be taking the oath. So, Mr. Maxwell, you should take the oath, and anybody here who wants to testify, and be on the record of having had an oath should do so. So I'll read the oath, and you all just can raise your hand and say, say I do, or say yes, I'll marry you then. So I hereby swear that the evidence I give in this case shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under penalties of perjury. Yes.
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 All the yeses. Okay. This hearing is being recorded. The general flow of the hearing will be the applicant will discuss the application and why he's requesting what he's requesting. And the zoning administrator is also going to be given opportunity to comment because this is a very narrow focused issue before the Development Review Board. The members of the public may ask questions and or present their case, and the applicant will respond to the questions as necessary, and then we'll just ask for final comments. And as you probably just heard, at the end of the hearing, and it's up to the Development Review Board members to decide whether to close the hearing, in which case we are saying that we have enough information to, or we think we have enough information to make a decision, or whether we want to recess the hearing in case we need more information. If after the hearing is closed, whether it be tonight or on a later date, the DRB has 45 days to render a decision. Let me just, any question on process or? Okay. I want to just start by making the comment that I think everybody knows, so I'm reiterating the obvious, but this subdivision was approved in 2013, right? So that's like what, 13 years ago.
2011, actually.
Oh, right, 2000, a long time
March
ago.
2nd.
And no one on this current DRB was involved in that previous decision. This is actually newer to us than it is to you. Just to remind a little bit of the folks, particularly some of the new people, are the newer members of the DRB. The Seckler subdivision is a eight lot subdivision at the end of Old Tavern Road. However, you can't get there from here. You can't get there. You don't get to the subdivision through Old Tavern Road. You have to go into Andover, right, and come up part of the way through Andover, and then a little bit through the way through a road in Weston, and then you're on the subdivision, right? So it's my understanding, and correct me if I am wrong, that the reason we are here tonight is that the Mylar that was recorded in 2011 has a condition on it that the owner of the subdivision shall not submit an application for a zoning permit to the Weston zoning administrator for construction of any type, including infrastructure, buildings, and lands and clearing. The covenant shall run with the land and cannot be removed. And that's sort of the key thing. It cannot be removed until the town of Weston Select Board approves a surety for the construction of the subdivision improvements, including the construction costs of the shared components of the septic system to be built on lot number 1 and shared by lot number 2, supplied by the owner of record at the time in a form and amount acceptable to the board. So, and now this is where I'm going to ask Will and you, Mr. Maxwell, to correct me if I'm wrong. It's my understanding that, under our zoning regulations, with respect to required improvements, there is a section 255 that says that this is before final plat approval, either one of two things has to happen. The town engineer has to file a certificate saying that all required improvements by the subdivider have been designed and inspected and meet standards in these regulations and are as required by law. Or a performance bond must be submitted and approved by the commission and the town attorney as to form, sufficiency, manner of execution, and surety for completion of required improvements. So I gather, and since none of us were, including you, Mr. Maxwell, we're aware of why the planning commission chose to only use one of those requirements as a requirement on the Mylar. Maybe that's what the applicant wanted at that time. I don't know. So the planning commission required just the second one, which was a performance bond.
I think it's because Mr. Seckler decided to sell the subdivision as a whole, and he thought it would be more saleable if he had final plat approval. I think that's the logic.
Okay, so am I correct then that what you're asking for is that condition to be removed, but adding the other condition, which is that you will complete the improvements subject to the satisfaction of the town engineer as required? Is that correct? Is that what you're looking for?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so it's not just asking for us to waive a condition that you get a bond. You're saying, I don't want to do the bond, but I want to do I'll build all the infrastructure subject to approval by the town engineer.
one of the maybe share like from the meeting that we had with the select board, and this was a while ago, their interpretation of kind of reading that was that we would, either need to get a bond or have it approved, right, as completed by the town engineer. And I'm like very much okay to have that either or there. But we were planning to proceed in a way where we would build the infrastructure and get the approval from the town. And instead of having to take out a surety bond, which so that was the ask there.
Okay, and as you know, and I don't have a section right in front of me, but there is some requirement that that the subdivider, or the owner, you have to pay a certain percentage of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
cost of
Yep.
the engineer.
He knows about that.
Okay.
It's been estimated by MSK.
Okay, so I guess, does everybody understand what the issue is then? I guess we're all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Narrow.
do we feel like we do we have the ability to take off that provision off of the Mylar and then add another requirement that they do the other thing? So I don't know. I mean, and we're not going to answer that question right now because that's what we're going to do in deliberative session, okay? But that sounds like the framing of the issue, right?
You're asking to waive the bond in exchange for completing the construction and then get approval?
Yes. And for example, with the subdivision that was just in here, they did the exact same thing. Originally we wanted them to get a bond and they didn't want to get a bond, and they finally then did build the improvements.
They didn't want to build the improvements either.
Well, they didn't want to build the
It
improvements
was either
either.
one.
But
They didn't want to do either of them. So, but they finally agreed to do the latter. So that's what we would be doing. And I mean, a lot of people, I guess that's why it's in as either or.
Either or.
I mean,
That's
the bottom line is there to protect the town, the buyers of the lots, the public, etc., so that there will be, before lots are sold, you want to make sure that there's a way for the people to get into subdivision.
Right, or that they don't at some point decide not to complete.
And the infrastructure, remind me, what is the infrastructure in this?
Road, a fire pond, a septic easement, and then upgrading the town road.
Right. So it's not just a road in this case, it's those various items. And we probably guess that's in it's in the original decision, right?
Yes, and there's lots of plans, and the plans have been looked at by MSK.
Okay.
They gave them a thumbs up.
Is there
Okay.
stormwater issues or no?
That's in
That's
there.
included too?
Yep.
Yeah. Is with the question, is it possible to add the or onto the Mylar in the way that it was written so that it's the bond or the completion? I'm wondering if that would be palatable or easier to just kind of have what was kind of originally reflected there.
That's a great question, and I mean, we can certainly entertain it. It's probably, and it sounds like it's easier to do that than it is to take
Then
one
just-
thing off and put the other
Yeah.
thing on. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now we do have members of the public. I mean, do you have anything more that you want to bring up?
I could maybe share and just a little more about
Sure.
what our plans are. And I haven't, had the opportunity yet to meet that many folks here who are neighbors. We were up maybe like a week and a half ago with our daughter and a lot of snow, and so didn't tried our best to navigate through. But we're primarily thinking about this as a generational property for our daughter and for other family potentially over time. Our daughter's in first grade and have designs to make a move up to Vermont at some point in time before she gets to high school. So gives us a little bit of time there. But what we've been working with Mike O'Neill from M&M on the site work, and our plans here are to upgrade that about 300 feet of Marsh Hill Road that kind of tees into where Old Tavern right now is a paper road but more wooded. So we'll upgrade that 300 feet, which is part of it, and then the lane that goes into the kind of the neighborhood. Our thoughts with this are that we are primarily looking to build a home for ourselves and save some lots for family that we would keep over time and likely sell something to help finance our own build there. But that's our plan. But we're very much kind of invested in this and thinking about this in a way that's wanting to be nice for our family as well, and certainly for neighbors and the whole community around it.
Okay, thank you. I think we get, and just so that you know, the Development Review Board has no authority around what you do with the road. That's basically you and the select board. Okay, that's not our concern. I mean, we're concerned and happy, but we don't have any responsibility for making that happen or ensure that happens. Okay. I guess the one question would be then, how would we, assuming that you are planning to do the second part, the did we lose him?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Assuming that we would be that we would be doing the second half, I guess it would be just the way we would just be waiting for verification and okay from the town engineer that everything was built to. Would we have to change the Mylar at that point, or?
I wouldn't think so, but we can check.
Okay, all right. I don't know exactly how that gets enforced. Okay. Now you have members of the public here, and I know that you all have issues or questions or whatever, but as I think you can realize, this is a very narrow question before the board. This is an approved subdivision. We don't have any authority over the provisions of the old subdivision. The only thing that we've been asked was whether we will agree to allowing them to do the either or that's provided in our in our subdivision regulations. That said, you've written letters, you've stated your position and we're here. So I would like to give those of you who would like to speak the opportunity to speak. And maybe it's mostly for your new neighbor to hear about it, but again, this is not, I'm just speaking for myself. I don't think we actually have any authority or ability to demand or enforce or whatever what the things that you're going to be talking about. But we would like to speak. We'd love to have you speak, and board can consider if there's anything we can do. So.
Okay. My name's Keith Dewey. It's nice to meet you, Joel.
Nice to meet you.
This is a copy of the site plan approved in March of 2011. I've had a copy of this for a number of years. Do you mind if I share that? So, some of you probably haven't seen this maybe, or that in detail. But this is the roadway off of Marsh Hill Road that Joel was just speaking of that connects into the development. And,
just 1 second. Can you hear Joel?
I can, yes.
Okay. And Jeff? Okay.
So we have a collection of neighbors here. There's 5 different neighbors that flank this subdivision. One is not here, but is included in letters that we've been sending. That's the abutting property owner all along the west edge of your property, Joel. That's a 100-foot wide strip that runs along the west edge of the property along here. And then the Solners live here, the Napellis live over here, myself and my wife, the Deweys, live here, and the Haugies live right here beyond that 100-foot strip. So,
and Keith, can you just show us where does Old Tavern Road go? Just goes straight down like that?
It heads down to the junction of Rogers Lane.
Okay.
It's a quick right-hand turn up to a cul-de-sac. Napelli's property is right over up here, I guess. So the reason we're here tonight, Joel, is not to be difficult or cause you any problems at all. What we're trying to do is be good neighbors and make a request of you to help preserve some of the conditions that were part of the actual 2011 approval, that we want to make sure language relating to those items that are in that drawing get conveyed to each potential property buyer in the future, so that we're protected concerning our health, safety, and welfare issues relating to being the neighbor of this property. As you probably know, this 100-foot strip along the back of the west side of your property is a very steep hill. It's I would guess between 30 and 40 degrees. It's wooded, but it's very steep. We all live on property that's ledge fills the area as far as the soils and things. So we're concerned about the future care of the quality of our water in our wells. We're concerned about septic system setback areas in relation to our wells. And also, because it's only a 100-foot strip on the west edge, it is wooded. It's the Solner's property. The very top of the hill is the west edge of your property. And on that drawing, there's a conservation area that it's actually described in one of the other sheets here, but it's shown as a wooded area that wraps around the entire development.
So Keith, I just have a question. So show me where the property line is. Is the property line on the far side of that shaded part?
Yes,
Okay.
this is the west edge of Joel's property.
Thank you.
So we're concerned because my well is about 2 feet from my property line. So it's about 102 feet away from your property line. We're concerned about things like the setback distance from a septic system to a well on an uphill slope needs to be at least 200 feet. So there's a potential problem there with the conflict between your future septic systems and my well, and also Mr. Haugie's well that's close to the edge of his property. Basically, what we're trying to say is we want to be good neighbors with you and welcome you to the area, but we would like to see you include in your covenants and in your deed some protections that are already approved, part of the approval from 2011, but probably, I'm guessing, has probably never been described to you before. Have you heard of any of these issues before from the realtor or anyone?
So Will has done a really good job of talking about the conservation land, and we've been working with Mance Engineering, which was the successor of Ellis Spieth's firm, and have been able to have Mance come out and mark things in a way where we have very clear understanding of where that conservation zone is, and what can be cleared and what cannot be cleared. And I also just want to thank you, Keith, for bringing this up and bringing it up in the way that you are, and I appreciate sharing this, right, and being able to do this.
Yeah, I mean, we're not here to cause problems. We're here to avoid future problems.
And I know there are covenants because there's shared infrastructure, but I would have to check. And also the septics and the wells is state jurisdiction, but I would have to look and see everything that's in the covenants.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I know there's potential issues, for example, here on lot 5, the proposed leach field is not far from the west property line. And that was part of the approved scheme. So 200 feet from there is into the Haugie's property. So I'm just suggesting that, and I can share the letter we sent to Will and Deborah. By the way, I don't know if you've all seen the letter. Okay. But if we could get that letter to you, and you could look over it, and we could discuss, the details of what our neighborhood group is concerned about. If you could possibly include those in the deed and the covenants to protect us. I'm sure you're an honorable fellow, but someone who might buy your lot may not comply, and then we end up with a problem as neighbors. And the best way in my mind to solve this problem is to communicate. When all else fails, communicate, and share these ideas with you, and include that in the covenants that you include in your deeds and sale of the properties. The issues are water quality, septic system setbacks, and also the conservation area as far as privacy, because some of our houses are near the west edge of our properties, and the hill up the steep slope up the hill behind us is only 100 feet wide from the edge of your property. And we care about the property values that we all have, and having a house right on the edge of that property where we lose our privacy is also an issue. So that was our concern. you know, I don't want to speak for all the neighbors if anyone else wants to say anything.
Can I ask you a question? We weren't involved, as you know, with the original subdivision, but you probably were. Was that 100-foot conservation buffer area put in as part of that subdivision as a protection for?
Ellis Spieth is no longer with us. He developed this that was approved, and this conservation area that's a shaded area was there included in that specifically to protect us as neighbors. And all we're saying is, please pass on to the buyers of the lot those protection requirements.
So, and you know, refresh our recollection here, because we haven't done as a committee or as a board that many subdivisions. So these drawings are all, I mean, the subdivider is supposed to comply with them, and then all the lots are supposed to comply with them, or?
Yeah,
So-
are there building envelopes? There's even,
They're large, and there's a lot of flexibility. In fact, Ellis Spieth, who was the engineer who did this set of drawings, was very considerate of us in the fact that he included, for example, the septic system for some of these lots is actually pulled over into other leach field areas away from that steep hill. You know, and we're concerned about the quality of our water in the future, and with 8 new septic systems right above us, and also the fact that weather is changing. We went through a severe drought last summer, and the depth of water tables and things like that with 8 new wells in place is a concern of ours. So we're
So, and as Will just said, you know, we have no responsibility for septic systems.
right. I understand
The
that. That's
Agency
an
of Natural
A&R thing,
Resources.
but
And there's all kinds of incredible rules that people have to comply with in order to do that, and distances from existing septic systems and existing wells, et cetera.
yeah.
So, and you don't feel that that's gonna provide enough protection?
Well, this meets the current A&R requirements. So this is permittable as it's drawn.
Okay.
What we're suggesting is that, you know, those requirements, because no one's going to build a leach field until they buy a lot. And if it's not in the covenants that Joel shares with those owners, they may build it differently.
well, it's
And
still
then-
in
then
the
there's a
septic
problem.
permits for the lots, so.
Yeah, they have to go to the state to get a permit for the septic system, right? So I assume that what's on this old map is conceptual septic positions. But
it's
that's not
the
gone. But that's not gone through an approval process at the state
Do they
yet,
have
correct?
septic
have-
permits for all of this?
Yes.
You do have permits for all those?
Yeah, there are septic permits for all of
But
them.
any changes would require an amendment.
Exactly.
Changes to what's
Yeah.
on the.
You know, one thing that I think is really positive about the covenants, and I've the covenants that are in front of me here, is that the covenants spell out really clearly both on the septic and the conservation. So there's a covenant that says, and I'm just reading from it, no disturbance shall be allowed in the conservation area that is provided on the lots as depicted on the final approval map. This conservation area is made part of, and it just explains, you know, that. And so that's formally part of the covenants. And then there's also all the septic as part of the covenants too, which I think is really positive because it spells out exactly where, you know, the locations. It refers back to the maps. It refers to easements and setbacks in a way that, you know, makes it really clear that it has to be, you know, abided by.
Hey, Joel, can I ask a question? In the buffer zone, is there restrictions about cutting in there? So when you transfer the property to a new owner, are they allowed to go in and cut trees? And I know they can't develop in there, but can they go in and clear in there?
I don't know the answer to that, and that's I'm
That's one
well,
of your major concerns.
Yeah.
That's considered a conservation area.
Conservation, yeah.
That be left alone. And I mean, there is a potential tendency for some of the lot owners on the west edge of your property to want to open up that view out to the west. And therefore we want to make sure that the areas in this conservation area are a no cut zone as protection to our privacy as well.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna make a statement here, and that is that, I hear your concerns, I hear your issues, and, if I were a neighbor, I would probably have the same concerns and issues. I do think that, and I'd be willing to have anybody else who wishes to speak, but I do think that this conversation is outside the bounds of what we can do, and I think your recourse is to, now that you have met via Zoom, your neighbor, I think it's, it's for neighbors to neighbor. I don't think we have any power to change the final decision, to add new responsibilities or requirements. I think we have to live with what we have to live with what was approved 15 years ago. And I don't think does anybody feel differently, that we have any authority to change anything?
I don't think we do, no.
Well, our request is that the covenants include the details that we talked about that are a part of the approved site plan. And whether that's something that Joel can handle himself, and it sounds like there's no issue with that in what you're trying to accomplish, then we're okay if we have some assurance, hopefully in writing, that if you could send us the covenants just so we could feel comfortable
I can send you the
about that.
covenants.
Right, and I do think that we're treading into sort of a neighbor and neighbor situation, and I think that unless Joel wants to answer it, I don't want to put Joel on the spot to have to respond and say he's going to do something that he may or may not want to do. So I think we have to tread lightly here.
And an attorney may look at those covenants and say it's all covered already.
Yeah. One thought maybe.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to suggest if Keith and neighbors, if it sounds good, maybe we could continue this conversation and have and we could even have some more conversation over Zoom, and maybe can do it because I would love to. I know exactly the areas that you're talking about, but because on the west side, I mean, it does drop off, and then there's a very thick row of of evergreens that is kind of along there, that is outside of the it's in the conservation area. It's outside of all the clearing, and I totally understand and visually can see what you're talking about, and also and recognize that both the approved plans as well as the covenants themselves say that has to remain intact as well.
Part of the reason some of us are here is we actually had no way of communicating with you. I just got your address just yesterday. If you could share at least your phone number so
Absolutely.
We can continue this conversation, that would be helpful. And we're basically just saying that similar to the project that was before us, that in our mind, part of the approval should include covenants that describe in detail the approval details that were done in 2011. That's what we're asking the board to do.
Joel, thank you for your willingness, but I don't want this is being recorded, and I don't want you to say your telephone number.
I'll email.
You got it for us, okay.
I'll let everybody know.
Yeah, and Will said he's pretty sure we have the homeowners association covenants, and they're public records, so you're certainly can see them.
And I can probably scan them for you and send them to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I've got a PDF. I can just send those to you, Will.
Okay.
And then you could send them around. And these are the covenants that were put in place back in 2011. And so, and so they're the ones that have been kind of enduring there. And yeah, we'd love to be able to talk with you about them and get any feedback about them as well.
Yeah, I mean, there may be some give and take. We could suggest some language that could be added to it in relation to our concerns.
Totally.
Does anyone else want to speak?
I just have one really quick question, Joel, and I know I'm probably out of place asking this question, but how far down from Marsh Hill Dale Road will the new road be developed? Is it my understanding that Old Tavern Road will not ever be fully improved from its current, I think it's class 4, whatever it is now? Will we always have forever an unimproved section down at
The
the
town
bottom?
is not gonna improve it, but a
Good.
landowner could. Do
Correct.
what Joel's doing.
So that's why my question, Joel, is to you, what is your intention? How far down
It's
the
about-
lane?
About 450
It's
feet.
300, yeah. It's about 300 feet, and it goes
Okay.
towards the it goes really just almost to the beginning of the neighborhood, a little past the beginning. But you
Sort of
but-
behind Mark, not Mark, what's his brother, Hebert's pond.
Okay,
Hey, Hebert's pond.
okay, and then you cut the road in so that all those
Yeah.
lot owners would have access from the other, okay.
All right, any further questions, comments? Does the DRB feel like we have enough information to make our decision on our one question? Okay, so then I would entertain a motion to, close the hearing. Annie's
I'll make
making
a
the
motion,
motion and
second.
Susan seconding it. Any further discussion on closing the hearing? Okay, hearing none, the hearing is closed at 6:40. And thanks to everyone who
Thank you, Joel.
participated.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, and nice meeting everyone.
So go ahead. We're making a pit stop, okay? And then what I'm gonna propose, Jeff, I know they're all leaving, I'm gonna propose that we actually take the second matter up first and just see if we can dispose of that relatively quickly, and then we'll move on to the first matter. And Jeff, are you in, Colorado?
No, I'm in New Hampshire.
Oh,
You never know where he's gonna be.
any more snow out in Colorado?
Thank
Not for another couple weeks.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. If anyone feels like calling solving the issue of number 2, go right ahead. No, I meant
Not even going there.
probably, never mind.
Murphy's circling my car, is waiting for me.
Out there, it's waiting for me. It's like, you got that decision? You done recording?
No, we have to
We have to vote.
stop the recording, but leave the Zoom on.
Right.
Sometimes I get
No, you
that,
don't have to.
sometimes I get that the other way around.